Hamilton, impossible to grasp the magnitude of my success. Lewis Hamilton says that it is impossible to grasp the magnitude of his success in Formula One. The Briton was crowned a five-time world champion in 2018, beating Sebastian Vettel to the championship for the second successive year. Hamilton, who turned 34 on Monday, finds it hard to believe that he had just one championship on his record when he joined Mercedes in 2013. On his way to winning 4 out of the last 5 titles, he became the most successful qualifier in Formula One's history, currently on 83 pole positions. Did I think that I'd be 5-time world champion? Of course I dreamt about it, but shoot, man, I dream a lot of things that don't happen. It's really hard to think that just 6 years ago I joined this team and I was 1-time world champion and now I have 4 more. That's not an insignificant number, and it's very, very hard, if not almost impossible, to grasp the magnitude of what those 4 mean. It's weird because it's almost like 1 kind of doesn't really mean anything. It's cool. 2, not too bad. 3 is like, well, you're kind of starting to do well. And then it's really weird how in this sport, and probably other sports as well, it's not until you have multiple that people really start to realize the strength and depth and the ability and the consistency and all these difficult things. For the second year in a row, Hamilton won the championship at the Mexican Grand Prix, but had to endure a difficult race in both years. In 2017, lap 1 contact with rival Vettel sent him to the back of the field while Mercedes had tire issues in the race last year. It was, and has been for the last couple of years, a horrible race for me, he said. I've got great support from the fans, so it was a great weekend, but the actual race felt terrible because we struggled with the tires, and, the previous year one got taken out. So this was kind of crazy to think I'm in Mexico. I had a difficult race the race before, still really close, and all of a sudden I'm world champion. Next news: Red Bull says Honda giving it party mode for first time. Red Bull believes it will be able to celebrate a Formula One engine party mode for the first time thanks to its new for 2019 partner Honda. After all but one of its 14 seasons with Renault power, Red Bull has switched to Honda for this season after ending an increasingly acrimonious relationship with its title-winning former partner. Red Bull has talked up Honda since inking a 2-year deal in the middle of 2018, declaring it had surpassed Renault before the end of the season. The team's motorsport advisor Dr. Helmut Marko believes planned gains for 2019 should put Red Bull in the region of F1's current benchmarks Mercedes and Ferrari, and have triggered a real euphoria and a sense of optimism within the team. The figures make us really optimistic, also with regard to the increase in performance, Marko told Motorsport.com. For the first time we can also celebrate with a party mode. The Honda engine is already slightly above the Renault engine. If you combine our GPS data with the data provided by Honda, we'll be in the Mercedes and Ferrari region. Of course they're not sleeping either. But they are already at such a high level that they can no longer make such jumps. Even if we should be 10 or 15 kilowatts behind, that was no different in our Renault era with the 8-cylinder engine. We can make up for that. Christian Horner, Red Bull team boss, said at the end of 2018 that an extra 40 kilowatts could have changed the complexion of the season. Red Bull won 4 Grands Prix last year but also suffered from ongoing reliability problems, and Renault admitted it had not made the progress it expected in performance terms. By contrast, Honda had a strong rebuilding season after ending 3 disastrous years with McLaren to partner Red Bull's junior team Toro Rosso. It had its own minor reliability setbacks but was buoyed by its reliability and performance developments, although Marco anticipates Red Bull will not have a seamless first season with Honda. "We are aware that it will probably be difficult with reliability," said Marco. "Most probably we won't be able to get through the season on 3 engines. But if you choose the right tracks, you can be back at the top in a few laps. That will be the concept, that we consciously accept engine penalties if necessary." Marco also said Red Bull had been portrayed as the big winners at time with Renault but insisted the figures speak for themselves. "We were in the B category right from the start," he said. "We lacked up to 70 bhp in qualifying. Depending on the racetrack it became less, but on average we were always at least 40 bhp behind. Our GPS data clearly shows how much we lose on the straights and how much we win in the corners. When the Ferrari power was at its peak, the difference was even more extreme." Next news: Norris reveals big change to McLaren's approach to development. McLaren rookie Lando Norris says the Woking-based outfit has changed its approach to how it will develop its 2019 car. After 2 formative years working in McLaren's young driver program, Norris has been rewarded with a race seat for the upcoming season. The team's switch from Honda to Renault power last year did not provide the impetus McLaren was looking for, with the outfit's MCL33 chassis suffering from a fundamental aero weakness. The Papaya squad's depressed level of performance led to management changes and to a restructuring of its design department, but just when a turnaround of McLaren's fortunes will occur is anybody's guess. "That's a difficult one, no one knows," admits Norris. "They have decent ideas of things they are working on, bits they are trying to improve, all these little things that you say they've had lots of data to say is better. Things can always change, sometimes it looks good in the wind tunnel, on the aero mapping or whatever, and you get to the track and it does something slightly different to what you expect. Of course they are confident they are making the right changes." According to Norris, increased focus coupled with last year's lessons have encouraged McLaren to change its development processes for 2019. "There's been quite a big change in the team and how they are approaching things. Approaching the work for next year, the development," said the 19-year-old. "I think they are focusing on making 100% sure they know things that are going to be for the good, and not kind of like in 2018 and maybe end up not so good." Thrown in at the deep end, Norris will undoubtedly have his work cut out in his maiden season of Grand Prix racing. But the Brit has no inhibitions about joining the big time, and has even set himself a bold, and admittedly unrealistic, target involving his vastly more experienced teammate Carlos Sainz. "My ideal aim is to beat Carlos at every race, and in every qualifying session," said Norris. "That is an unrealistic goal to set at the moment, but I will do the best job I can and complete as much preparation as I can to be ready for it. I would like to beat him, and that is my aim, and my goal." Thank you for watch video. Subscribe now to know the latest sports information.